your socks! Hey!
The Lost Art with Andrew Cox podcast, now streaming on all major podcast platforms. A Till Valhalla Project ambassador. Thanks for tuning in to the podcast that's given a voice to our veterans. The Lost Art with Andrew Cox. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Lost Art Podcast, that podcast giving a voice to our veterans. I'm your host, Andrew Cox, and today we're having a My Veteran Story. But before we get into that, are you enjoying the podcast? Then be sure to go to our website. That's thelostart.podbean.com. Check us out. See what we're all about. There is a merchandise tab. You can go in there, get you some cool gear. There is also a patron tab. You can click on that, help support us in getting our veteran voices out for all to hear. Big shout out to the Till Valhalla Project. They're out there doing amazing things. If you don't know anything about that amazing organization, please go check them out. It's tillvalhallaproject.com. If there's any way you can help them, please do so.
Ton Tavern, birthplace of the Corps. We as Marines hold this history close to our hearts. Wouldn't it be spectacular if the establishment was born again? The Ton Legacy Foundation, a nonprofit 501c3, is taking the task and is looking to the Marines to once again save the day. Help the Lost Art podcast in raising funds to help get the Ton built once again only 100 yards from the original establishment in Philadelphia. We are looking for Marines to donate $25 representing the upcoming 250th birthday of the Corps. Spread the message and help establish the Ton, a place for Marine brethren to gather and remember our historic beginning. Go to the Lost Art GoFundMe page and donate today. The Ton Legacy Foundation, reestablishing our birthplace. I want to welcome John. John, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Awesome. Hey, welcome. I'm excited to have you on here. I know you've been doing some exciting things lately, and you got some good stuff going on, which we're going to get to. But before we do that, let's just rewind. We'll go back to the beginning on you. So, like, where did you come from? Where did you grow up? How was that for you? And then we'll transition to what led you into the military service.
Well, I was raised back east in New Jersey. My real dad was killed when I was 18 months old. So my mom was forced to be a single parent. And in the city back there, she started judo classes to defend herself as a single parent. And at 5 years old, I began going to judo. Unfortunately, at the time, I was too young. But the instructor saw that I was mimicking the moves, so I started class. So that was a big help for me, and that'll come in later in the program as we progress into how martial arts played a good role for me in the military.
Right.
So my mom did a lot to take care. We had a big family. So the loss of a dad for me, he was 22 years old. I was 18 months old, was something that I had to carry through, which I still carry through to my life. So my mom, encouraged me a lot. She was supportive. I was picked on as a kid because I had the famous military style glasses.
Yeah.
That were thick. So kids tend to pick on me, and I went to Catholic school. And thank God that my mom didn't have a lot of money, because otherwise I would have had the tie you had to tie around. Instead, I had a clip-on tie, which was a good thing for me, because the guys used to grab that tie thinking they're going to get me, and it would come off and I was able to run. So as a kid, I was bullied, and I didn't fight back because my mom was really against violence. We used to sit and watch and wait when my Uncle John was in Vietnam, and other family members, and watch when the POWs came home. I remember watching the TV and waiting for people to come home, and some of them never came home.
Yeah.
And then I would watch the news and see that. When my Uncle John came home, he was a little bit of a mess. So I learned a lot about PTSD, and back then they called it shell shock.
Right.
And as a child, our family was confused because we never seen anything like that. We were worried about our uncle. But as he grew through the stages, he was able to talk to us as we aged and stuff, and explain to us exactly what went on over there. And so with that said, me and my other cousins, we're signing up now, buddy. That's going to be it. So I used to watch all the commercials for the Marine Corps. I used to set my alarm clock at midnight because that's when the commercials started coming on. I would watch stuff, be all you can be, all that stuff, and run. And, you know, it was just the thing. And the guy in the blues and the sword and stuff. It was like, it was just there. And I even watched Gomer Pyle, even though that was a game. But anything to do with the Marine Corps, I was eating, sleeping, drinking it 24/7.
Right.
So I began working out at 9 years old. Didn't know how to work out, just pumping out weights for hours and hours, thinking I was going to get huge. Never happened. I just got cut up and stuff. And so until I learned that, and I'm still that way, high metabolism. So my mom remarried to a guy that was 82nd Airborne. He wasn't a very nice guy. I give him credit for his bad conduct, his violence in the family, abusing my mom until I got up to an age where I could jump in and took a beating for her. So I said, you know what? And he was a very, very, very huge dude, man.
Yeah.
I'm only 5'7" now, so you can imagine what I was. I graduated high school, 108 pounds, went in the Marine Corps. So give you a little bit of idea how small I was. So I said, you know what? I'm going to start working out. So I opened up a comic book and I saw this Charles Atlas course and I went and got that, isometrics. I was like, yeah, this is good, but this ain't getting it. So I told my mom, I want to go to martial arts and I want to get my black belt. So my mom would take me. I studied many different styles. It was from one class to the next class to the next class to the next class. And I was doing different styles, practicing, and I get my belt there. And people like, how could you do that? I said, what's going on in my house, this is a good focus to me. So I learned how to channel things in a manner where it was positive.
Right.
But I had an ulterior motive was to protect my mom and my siblings from this very abusive man. So, and believe me, I worked out. So one day he wanted to start working out with me. Of course, anything you did with this guy was never good enough. So with that said, he never accepted me as part of the family, and it's just the way it is. But what he did was he prepped me for what I was to be presented with in life, whether it be in civilian life and the military. A lot of people that I know that join the service, some of them have no inclination or never been introduced or subject to any type of form of violence at all, and then they freeze. Fortunate enough for me, I was geared and seasoned. I saw blood, knives. I saw a lot of stuff. And the one thing good about my stepfather, if you got in a spiff, he was right there ready to fight. So all he wanted to do was fight and beat up people. So the abuse that he did to me and the beating, to me, it left me fearless. My skills got sharper. My brain got tougher. And I knew I was going to be a Marine. So I said, there's no better time now than to start preparing. And having other family members that were in the service, they said, keep in mind, it's all up here.
Right.
Your fitness is going to play a good role in saving your life with your skills, but these are going to make the decisions that are going to determine how you're going to get out of certain situations along with leadership. So in junior high, I'll say 5th grade, I got beat up by the bully, and I kept getting beat up, and I would go home and my mom would say, what's wrong? And I said, I hopped over the fence. I never wanted to tell her. She was a good Catholic. She was Sicilian. So she was against violence completely. And I would never tell her. She'd come to school and give me new clothes, but I got beat up every day because I didn't want to fight back because I was being obedient to my mom, which to me was very important to me because she was my mom and I wanted her, to be proud of me. And so finally, thank God there is a God or somebody. One day, in the front of our house, my mom was watching TV. She must have heard the commotion, and 3 brothers were like pushing me in a circle. First time I ever heard my mother curse in my entire life, man. And it like the light bulb went off, and I'm like, all of a sudden I heard, kick their effing ass, and wham, they all went down. If my mom was alive today, she would tell you, my son closed his eyes and swung. I said, whatever I did, it worked, Mom. The next day I went to school because their brother was one of the bullies. His rival wanted to fight me. This is 5th grade. 5th grade.
Oh, wow.
So now I'm walking to school. My friend, my best friend, who tried to beat me up but couldn't catch me. We became friends. I'll tell you that story later. He's still my friend today, my very best friend. And so on the way to school, we get to the schoolyard and everybody's clapping and then they open up. It's kind of like a Marine Corps ceremony, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's going on? He goes, yeah. I'm not going to mention the guy's name, but he goes, you got to fight this guy. He's waiting on you. He's a little upset. You just beat his thing. So now you became his threat. I'm like, but I don't want to fight with him. He goes, you don't have to, but he's going to make you fight. So my best friend tells him, he says, I'm going to tell you something. That little guy is going to hurt you. And of course, oh, that little punk can't hurt me. And the kid was big. I had to be the smallest kid in school ever, man. Everywhere I was always small. I was like, how come everybody's bigger than me? But I was in shape. I had skills. And the one thing that people were unaware of, what was going on in my home. So that stays up here. So in my mind, you became my stepfather. Mm-hmm. You poor son of a bitch. You don't know.
Yeah.
So he came up to and I wound up kicking his butt. Now his rival, whose brother was a golden glove boxer or whatever, so he was being trained boxing. On the way home from school that day, he wants to pick me up in a fight. Lucky for him, there was a bicycle laying on the ground behind him. Lucky for me. I wound up pushing him on that bicycle and the pedal hit him back. That was the end of that fight. So in our area, you had grammar school that went up to 6th grade. Then you went to junior high, now 7th, 8th, and 9th, then high school, which made it more challenging because you're going to be mixed people from different areas into that school. Mm-hmm. And here comes, do it for Johnny syndrome. I'm getting picked on again because now everybody wants to test their thing and they all hear about, hey, he beat that dude up and that up. And my best friend, I'm telling you, leave him alone. I must have had more patience for violence or people pushing me because inside I knew what I was capable of and I knew what was going on in here. Now, if it wasn't for my very best friend, a lot of people probably been seriously hurt because this is how small I was. He would pick me up by the loop of my pants and my collar. You done yet? He'd turn around. I'm right back on him. So this happened a lot. My math teacher, and I'm going to say him because he is a remarkable Mr. Newmark. He was my math teacher. He was also the wrestling coach. And he goes, hey, man. And I sucked at math. I sucked in school. I hated school. My best friend was the brains. I was the brawn, you know. And so I slept in class. He goes, you know what? Why don't you join the wrestling team? I joined the wrestling team. And in 8th grade, even though I couldn't get the uniform, they gave it to me one time. I actually beat the 9th grader because you have to wrestle up for the uniform to make the cut.
Right.
I got the uniform, but I didn't wrestle. I think they did out of respect for him, which was cool because it gave me a learning experience, but it also showed me that I can excel, which was good for the service. Mm-hmm. So I learned that everything that I'm going to be the best at what I do, and I'm going to focus on what I'm going to be because the Marine Corps is only the few, the proud, and they want the best. You know? They don't want quantity, they want quality. And I'm thinking, I kept telling my friend, quality. I don't know if I got quality. He goes, you got this, and you got this, and you got this. That's all you're going to need, and you're shaped. And he goes, people don't realize that. So I went on a wrestling team, 9th grade as well. And, of course, I went to high school. I got one fight.
In high school.
There, and that was it. And they think you're tough. Boom, laid him out in a heartbeat. Man, my buddy goes, yep. And I said, yep, I'm going to leave that man on. So I wrestled. I made varsity, 108 pounds.
Very nice.
Okay, 3 years in a row. I did really good. I think I had 2 losses maybe, and they were at a higher rate, a higher weight class because at times my coach wanted to play games. But in any case, so I did fairly well. Took the first place gold medal that our school had in 10 years. So that was good for me. That was a good morale builder. Although I never paid attention to the newspapers and everybody's like, hey, are you that wrestler? I'm like, what wrestler? You're Johnny? Yeah. You made the paper. I delivered the paper. I never read it. That goes to show you how much I was interested in it. But I never knew that how much exposure I got from my neighborhood. Now people were looking, I'm like, why does everybody treat me different? You know? So after I learned, when I worked at a fruit stand, there was a girl there that would not give me the time of day. And when she heard my name, She goes, "You John Haggerty, the wrestler?" I'm like, "Yeah." All of a sudden, her whole mind changed. Now she's my best buddy. She tells me a story about Mr. Newmark, my math teacher that was my junior high teacher, who now was at Colonia High School in New Jersey.
Okay.
He was a coach there. They had a pep rally. And so what he did was he was talking about me, saying that I had this guy and he went through all his challenges, and now he's wrestling varsity. That's the drift I got from her. But it was good to hear that he said something and remembered me, because that shows me that he really cared. So it was a good builder for me because of what was going on at home, because I didn't get that from my stepfather, but I got it from my mom. I always got all that affirmations from my mom. But it was interesting to see, like, wow, you get fame and people treat you differently. I'm still the same person. I'm still going to be whoever I am, wherever I'm at. I have a friend, and I think you probably spoke to him, Daniel. He'll tell you, he goes, one thing about Johnny, he is who he is in any environment, around any people. He doesn't change. He is real, and that's the truth. And he's told us to one person who was trying to say something, and he says, "Yeah, but the thing about Johnny, he is who he is, no matter where he is. So there's nothing phony about it," which was a good compliment from a guy that spent a lot of time in special ops. So, and he's a good guy. So, hey, during that time, I signed up for the Marine Corps, 180 days. I'm like, yeah, this is awesome, man. Now I'm running 6 miles every day. I'm pumping weights. I'm doing my martial arts. I go to my Korean Taekwondo class. Now I'm thinking, I want to excel a little more, man. Now my head is getting big, and I'm like, oh, man, this is kick-ass. Hyen Soo Lee was like a 7th or 8th degree. Now he's like way up there, weighed about 90 pounds. And this guy can do a level kick about 8 feet in the air, man. So he's in his office one day, and I stay after class, and I'm doing spinning back kicks, and I'm looking at this picture of him on the wall jumping up, doing this flying kick. I'm like, what the hell? So here I go, do a flying kick to hit that back, level me right out of my back. Here comes Master Hyen Lucy out, standing around the corner, and goes, "Yep, I do this too one day." And he laughs, and he goes back in his office. He goes, "You learn." So that taught me a lesson about you can exceed your limitations, but you're not unless you try. So go outside your box. Pain or no pain, it taught me a lesson. So during that 180 days, my mind now is prepped. Now I want to go. I want to get out and go in the Marine Corps. And I'm talking to my uncle John, who recently passed away. He was bedridden 3 years, Vietnam vet. And he was like a good mentor, like realistic guy. I told you. And I said, if you go in, these are the things you're going to have to be concerned about. You're going to go in. If you go certain places, you're going to come back with a different mindset. And he goes, but the one thing about you Marines, and I'm going to tell you, and this is from a Vietnam vet. He goes, when we got over there, we didn't really know what we were going into. Here you go to boot camp, here's a rifleable kill. And a lot of people got into some stuff. He said, Marines, when they were over there, those guys were just killers, man. They're Marines. He goes, but my friends that are Marines, I came out and I'm trying to adapt. And these guys are Marines 24/7, in or out. They don't stop being Marines. Their whole life revolves around their mentality level and their brotherhood. And he himself told me, he goes, I've seen special forces. I've seen SEALs, SOG guys, all these special ops in Vietnam. Because I have never, ever in my life seen the strongest brotherhood that Marines have. I see guys, we go to Vegas on these conventions or Washington to the wall, and I see Marines, hey, what's up? Nope, but you guys are hugging like you knew each other. I said, yeah, that's camaraderie teach us. He goes, that's one thing that'll never leave you. When you go into combat, he goes, this is the other side. You're going to have friends that you're going to stay close to, other ones that are going to distance themselves because they don't want to be reminded of that. So take that in consideration if you lose friends. And that was a lesson I had to learn from losing some friends. And yeah, that's a challenge. That's a challenge to give up a friendship and in the manner that they go. Whether if it's a training exercise or combat or even something happens in civilian, it's hard to let go when you've got that bond. But he was a biker, so he was in a club, so he had that brotherhood too. So now I'm waiting to go in the Marine Corps, and I'm just pumped up. Mom and Dad, my stepfather, as usual, fought all night. I was up all night. I went to school, I think, that day. I can't remember. I just remember coming to wrestling. I missed wrestling practice once in 5 years. One practice. the top wrestler. I went there, my coach goes, "You're off the team. You didn't show up for practice." I didn't say a word. I didn't say one word because that's how I was very quiet. Here, you hear me talking back then? It was here. All right, I'm a man. Here you go. I left. I'm not going to explain to him what's going on in my house. If he doesn't see the quality of my person, I owe him nothing. Till this day, that still hurts me. And I try to reach out to see if I can talk to him, but when it happens, it happens. Because I want to say, you know what, good SOB? You don't know what was going on in my home, and you didn't even bother to ask. You didn't care, but I'm not, you know what I mean? So I said, okay, cool. Now I'm really going to Marine Corps. I'm quitting school. I go to, well, you got to have your mom's signature. Oh, yeah? So I told my mom I'm quitting school. She goes, you're only a couple weeks away from graduating. I said, screw that. I'm going to the Corps. I don't have wrestling no more. What do I got to go to school? I don't need it. I'm done. I'm going to the Corps. I go there and tell Staff Sergeant Bodette. He goes, what? You quit school? I'm like, yeah. He goes, I can't get you in. Now I'm like, what do you mean you can't get me? I'm on a 180-day. I've been waiting for this day. He goes, you can't. You got to have a high school diploma. Okay. Now I got to go back to school and see if I can get back into school. They said, we'll let you back in school to get your diploma, but this is what you're going to do. You're going to go to day school, night school, and summer school. I'm like, it's a lot more school than I did in the whole time I was in school. Well, during the time I did it, I went to summer school. I told my mom, I said, I can't do this. This is BS. So she goes, all right, go take the GED. So I called Staff Sergeant Bodette. He goes, you get that? You're in. All right. And I had to get character references. So I got character references from all the coaches and stuff, which was awesome. And so anyway, I go get my GED, and now I'm psyched. Now I'm out with my friends. My girl, I'm 17. My friend is 19. And I got a hot rod. And on night before, I'm like, yeah, we're at a party. I got my girlfriend. I got my buddy in the back. We stopped at another one of my friend's house to relieve ourselves on his tree and the property. And it was my luck, Murphy's Law, police across the street. All of a sudden, they come. And it's funny because the officer was a highly decorated Vietnam vet, a Marine, who was always out my door. And when I was a kid, he said, Johnny, we want to go in and help, but our hands are tied. My stepfather would come out with shotguns and chase them away. You can't do that today. But he was a high up in the Teamsters, so he had a lot of pull. He was just one of those guys. If you cut him off, he followed you home, went to your house with a baseball bat, beat you, got a car and left. I'm like, you do that stuff today, you're gonna have a SWAT team at your house. So that's why it was so different. And Steve Sexton, who was the cop in uniform at the time, and then so anyway, they're following me. Now I have a Mopar. It was a 340 boarded out 60. It was totally unstreet legal. Got about 6 to 8 miles to the gallon. They had the SS Kragers on it, the big 50s, pistol grip shifter on it for. So we're cruising. So I'm looking in the mirror and going, oh, man, we're drinking. Oh, man, it's not going to be good. I'm supposed to be leaving for the Corps tomorrow. So they come behind me, no lights on and no headlights. And they're right on the tail. And I'm like, uh-oh. So I'm cruising. Then my buddy flips the story and he goes, you can't pull over. Well, he goes, I got a quarter pound of marijuana on me. I'm like, what?
Oh,
said,
no.
You're going to go to jail, man. I'm not. I go, throw it out to him. He goes, no. I said, dude, well, I'm not stopping. That's the kind of friend I am, okay? This is going to help you understand me during this story stuff. So that's where my loyalty comes. So now I'm like, son of a gun. Now the lights come on. I'm like, I'll blow this cop. I'm taking off, man, trying to get to the Garden State Parkway. I'm about short time to the Garden State Parkway. I make a turn to lose them. Ran out of gas.
Oh,
as my car ran out of gas, I was ripped out my window. I don't know how he got it, but that Sexton had me by my ankles and kicking me in the groin. I mean, literally pounded on me. They took my girlfriend out. Good thing for my friend, just as I turned the corner, he threw that stuff out. So anyway, unknowns to them, the house that we died in front of was new people that just moved in. Welcome to the neighborhood. But he was a cop. He comes out. He goes, don't you think that kid had enough? He goes, you want some? That cop went down. He started beating the hell out of the other two cops.
Oh, wow.
I didn't find this out till I went to court. So anyway, I was beat to a pulp, man. I was beat to a pulp. Took me down to the police station. And we had in the police station had those old like swinging doors. So my mom's down there, and I'm sitting in a chair. I'm here, and I'm like bleeding. I'm like, I'm like a guy that just got interrogated by the CIA, you know. And I'm all beat up and stuff, black eye, man, clothes tore up, and I'm 108 pounds. Okay, so the door opens and my mother sees it. Oh my God, Cecilia's mom. Whatever women carry in their pocketbook, gentlemen, be aware, because it will knock you down. My mother took that pocketbook and started. We must have been about 8 police off of there, and Mom knocking them on the ground, and they're trying to get out of the way. Back then, it was, I guess it was okay to see a hysterical mom, but she knew most of them because she changed most of her diapers.
Right. Yeah.
So she bailed me out. I had to go to court. And I wore my wrestling jacket with my varsity letter, and the judge is asking the cop. Now I'm standing there next to these 2 huge cops, and I'm this little guy, and I got 108 pounds on here, and all this stuff. And the cop goes, he's asking the cops what happened, you know, why they beat me up, and he asked the other cop, and the other cop goes, I was too busy chasing the other. And my mother goes, no, you weren't. You were beating them up too, man. So the judge goes to me, he goes, you want to tell me what happened? And I told him the truth. I said, hey, you know, I was having a good time. I was out with my girl. I stopped my friends, you know, word verbatim. And he goes, so what's your plans? I said, I'm supposed to go in the Marine Corps. I was signed up, ready to leave. Now I can't. And I said, this is probably going to ruin any chance I have for a future. So he must have saw the tears in my eyes. And my mother's like, this kid eats, sleeps, drinks, runs, everything is Marine Corps since I can remember. So, of course, moms have a big input with the judges, you know. So he goes, the cop told him, yeah, I came out fighting. And I'm thinking, dude, if I did, you would have known you've been in a fight, because I got some skills. I probably would have got hurt then. But I said, Your Honor, I didn't know it hit me. My car died, and that's how fast I was out the window on the ground before I knew anything was going on, man. And next thing I knew, I was at the police station. So he goes, well, I'm going to give you a fine. How are you going to pay it? I said, my mom's going to pay $250, and I'm going to pay her back. He goes, you better pay her back. I told the cops, he said, if I ever see you in my courtroom again, apparently he's had problems, says, you guys are going to go to jail. So in any case, so now I have to go to Staff Sergeant Bodette. He was Staff Sergeant at the time. He goes, dude, I told him the story. He goes, are you lying to me? I'm telling you, this happened. He goes, there's no record of it. I said, well, I do know that the judge is retiring, so maybe they threw it at court. So he goes, are you sure this happened? Because I've been looking. So I'm thinking, and I want this to be a lesson to people out there that are going into service, any branch. If they don't know, don't tell them. If they're going to find out, they'll bring it to you. Then you can go into your story. But don't tell them anything they need to know, because it can hurt you and ruin you, especially if you're trying to. And I learned this the hard way. So to young people, if they don't know, don't tell. So he's like, dude, man, now that you self-admit, you know, I'm like, look, I want to be honest to the core. I don't want them to think that I'm a bullshit. I want them to know that I'm a quality person. Now I'm straightforward. So I guess he understood. He goes, but I have to put this on your thing because I did these record checks and stuff based on that. I can't find anything, you know. And he was a righteous, honest recruiter and wanted the best for me. And so, and he's also went up the ranks when North was there. You've probably seen shirts on the Discovery or the History Channel stuff. Yeah, good guy. And so he's like, dude, man, there's no record of it. I said, well, it happened, man. I wouldn't make this up. So in any case, so I had to get character references. So now I go through the process. In the time of the process, one of my friends called and said, hey, Johnny, you know that weed your friend threw out of the car? I'm like, yeah. He goes, my dad picked it up. His dad was cool. He would collect people's marijuana pipes and stuff. If you go to his house, he had like a whole cabinet up. He took it and did it. So my friend wouldn't get in trouble. But no longer my friend. I'll let you know that now, man. So he also went to the Marine Corps, and he bumped into me later, which was like, he looked at my rank. I said, don't play now, buddy. Because I forget, but for the sake of the Marine Corps, it was a motor pool. Anyway, we'll let that slide for the moment. But I did find out how people will turn on you to save your tail, even though you're looking out for them. That is a hard lesson I had to learn, and I'm going through some things in my records now, which my attorneys are having. this will probably come up later. And I say this because I want the young people that want to go in the military for whatever their reason is. Kids have, I want to go to college. I get that. Get to college. Get your thing. Whatever you do in any branch of the service, and I can tell you from experience in the Marine Corps, they have MCI courses, if that's what they call them now. Anything you do that's going to benefit your branch of the service is going to go in your record and help you move up the ranks. If you do anything that has anything to do with your MOS, it's going to enhance you. Leadership, things like that. Whatever it is you do that's going to benefit the government, you can be sure all eyes are on you because they're going to use you to their advantage, and it's going to be a lucrative plan for your achievement. So, but any case, so limit your associations, keep what you need to keep to yourself. Most guys, as you know, when you pick up rank, they try to segregate you for purposes for leadership. Back in the day, it was like, get your men to hate you, they'll do anything. I'm like, I grew up in a neighborhood like that. They didn't like you. You was fighting, man. Or worse. So I learned from my Uncle John, Vietnam vet, and some other people that were Marines that were in our family. They said, listen, the best way to be a leader, if you see something that needs to be done, you do it. Because you're going to say, man, if he can do it, we can do it. Set by example. Get your men to understand you are not their boss. You may be a part of the leadership, but you are a team, and you only work together as a team. A team cannot work if it is not a team. It can't be bickering. Yeah. So there's a lot of good things for kids that are going in or young people for leadership, whether they go in for a short stint or a long stint or to be a lifer. When they come out, they're going to have more skills than a normal person. And they're going to be able to make precise decisions under the most extremely stressful situations that are, and I don't like to say this because I don't know how other people might feel, or life or death situations where your decision can cause lives. So you have to make these. But you're going to be a good asset when you come out. You're going to be a good asset to the military. So anyway, I did the 108 days. I get in. I go to boot camp. I got to tell you the story. When Sergeant Bodette came to my house, it was about 2 in the morning. Knocks on the door. I'm ready, man. I'm sitting by that door. He rolls by the door. First time I heard my stepfather say anything remotely complimentary about me. I don't know if he was just trying to make a display. I'm the good dad, whatever, because he's what we call like a closet abuser. Everybody liked him out there, but then behind closed doors stuff, he was a miserable person. So, but he had his problems. He just didn't want to address it. So we're going to leave that part alone. But so my stepfather goes to Staff Sergeant, but he goes, yeah, man, I was an 82nd Airborne, and Johnny's a good kid. Staff Sergeant Bodette goes, yeah, you know what? There's only two things that fall out of the sky, bird shit and assholes. I thought it was going to be on. That is the first time I ever saw my stepfather and I was out the door. I go, I'm getting out of the way of this. Away we went. And the process began.
Nice.
Yeah, and getting into boot camp.
Sorry, being on the East Coast, right, New Jersey, you went to Parris Island?
Parris Island, Swamp Marine, man. Yeah, fighting off alligators. Never had an opportunity to fight an alligator. I don't think I wanted to at that age. When I went to boot camp, I felt that I was in the best shape of my life because I worked out. Let me tell you something, young people. Work out twice as hard, because when I went to boot camp, and I'm glad that I had that extra physical capability and I was trained, because some guys were total getting their ass whoops at just running a little bit. A lot of it, of course, is mental, but it was good. It was good. And I was like, wow, they pushed me and I excelled. I must have did more pull-ups and push-ups than any one person ever in the Marine Corps. I was in 3rd Battalion H Company, and I believe that building, because it was back off the parade deck where all the eyes are, the staff and all that stuff, and the brass was set back. So they got away with it. H Company and our company, the frog kind of throat guys, which I thought was pretty cool. And I was like, why do you guys talk like that, man? It's just their thing to keep up. But I guess tradition. I believe my building that I went to, the barracks, was the one that they knocked down that they were selling the stones at. That was, I think, pretty much one of the first barracks. So I was like, wow, man, that's like a part of my life, man. Yeah. I sit in front of the bulldozer to stop. What do I do? Yeah, because when when you got something that means something that plays like a significant role in your life, like a person, you want to protect it. So yeah, boot camp was awesome at PI. I remember getting on at the AFI station. You know how you got to bend over and let them do their thing. This one guy, I don't know, he must have weighed about 340. He's a big boy, and he was not overweight.
Wow.
He was one solid dude, and he was from Jersey. And he goes, "You gonna stick something up my tail?" Hell no, man. Nobody's sticking nothing up my tail. Finger or nothing, man. Done career right there, man. Out, man. Nobody came in either. I thought there would be people rushing in. He just stood around. He goes, "Who's next?" And I'm looking at him. I'm like, coming next to me to stick their finger in. Am I supposed to follow this guy's lead? So I make it through that horrible thing. Good God, man. So we get on the bus as we get off at the airport. And this is the funny part, because they tell you, the lady on goes, "Now, if I put that light on, we get, all hell's going to break loose. So I want you guys to keep your mouth shut, sleep, do what they want, and we're here, no ruckus on the bus." So young guys, we don't know what we're doing. We're like, okay, man. Quiet as a mouse, not a peep, not a fart, not a rapper, not everybody just sitting and looking at each other. Can we talk? What we do, you know? We get there, that woman turned on that light, and we're like, "Hey, woman, man, what are you doing?" We were quiet, man. Just a part of the game, man. They came in there and ran us out of that bus screaming and yelling. I'm like, you know what? It didn't bother me. Sound like my stepfather. So I had a little bit of humor. I go, "You might want to get your voice a little louder." "Who said that?"
No.
I said, "I did." "Oh, you got courage? Come here." I don't care. You see, I had that mentality. If you're going to push me, I'm going to push back. But if you want to see what I'm made of, Marine Corps, you're going to find out what I'm made of at the gate. It was a good thing. It was also probably a little bit of a bad thing for what I went through, but it was a good thing later on, as they told me. You know, my drill instructors weren't at the front, but when you got into the gate and stuff and you met your DI and stuff like that, they kind of took you aside later during graduation. "You know, I heard you did up the." So, "You think you got balls?" I'm like, my friends would say, "Big ones, big ones." He goes, "We're going to see how big you got now." Of course, you know, the yelling and screaming, stay on your footprints. Going there. Now, I had long hair as bad as I could keep it, regulation for wrestling for high school. And fast haircut I ever had. Like, wow, my hair going. I'll never forget feeling that hair going, oh. And of course, now I've got these big glasses with the big Coke bottles, and they're not fitting my head no more. Now I look like a Q-tip on steroids with a big old pair of glasses. So we get in there, we go through getting your clothes and stuff, rushing around. And the first shower, wet up, soap up. Little thing you're done, you got soap all over, and it's freezing cold. It was January too, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, you gotta be kidding me, man.
Sure, they had the hot water turned off too.
What hot water? They had hot water? Oh, they sure lied to me then, man. So I remember that pause, like, whoa, man. So yeah, it was good. It was good. It was the most. It was exciting, actually. It was a little intimidating at first because you didn't know what was around the next corner or what was going to happen from home and home, because they start your mental testing right at the gate. They screaming and yelling. We had quite a few people drop out like in the first couple of days, like instantly. Now, I'm glad you did that, because you ain't running while I'm fighting, dude. You better run now. It's basically how I saw it, you know. And I get it. I get it. So you get into your barracks, and you know, you learn how to make your bed in the hospital fold. You're constantly drilling. You're in your skivvies, your fingernails. You're singing a Marine Corps hymn in your sleep, and you get run in the garbage can, wake up. So before they do the selection, before they know what platoon you're going to, you got to sit down, and then everybody gets a number, and they call up, and you're like, oh shit, hope I get with my friend. And I feel sorry for the buddy program. No such thing. Never heard of it. You ain't being together, brother. Let me tell you, they're going to split your tail up, man. You're going one way, one's going the other. Guys, hey, we went on the buddy program. There ain't no buddy program here. You're going to learn the buddy program, but you're going to learn it over there. So, yeah, it was kind of like, wow. But all the guys you met on the bus and stuff, it kind of, you know, you knew that you're going to be with, you wanted to be with because you got that little bit of bond. Then you get split up. I get this guy named Fells, called himself Silk because he was smooth. He was my bunkie. I had the top rack, he had the bottom back. So one day, as a joke, we're making a bed and stuff. He helps me with mine. He goes, ain't you going to help mine? I go, now who's smooth? He's a good guy. I love that guy. Boot camp was a good learning experience. I got the name Elton. So the drill instructors going up and down and, giving names there to, what do we got here? F and Elton John. And I started laughing. Man, that's funny as hell. I ain't doing remotely as Elton John. I don't play the piano and I'm not queer, man. What'd you say? I said, you heard me. I speak perfectly good English. Oh, man, got hit the solar plex. I'm like, oh, yeah. Now, my first thought is, do I hit this big guy? Sergeant Sherman was his name. He looked like a tank. And I'm like, should I hit this guy back? This is like the first time I'm hearing all this stuff. I'm like, nah. And I'm thinking if I do, my buddies are going to come in. Everybody's still pulling their skivvies out of their cracking their tail because they're cleaning their butt cheeks closed. Like, oh. So, of course, pull-ups, push-ups, pull-ups, push-ups, pull-ups, push-ups. So from there on, I became Elton. That was Elton. I'm like, God, what the hell kind of name is that? Hey, Elton, can you bring me an M60? Hold on, how many keys do you want on that piano? So, yeah, boot camp was good. It taught me a lot about leadership. It also taught me, we had an incident where you do the crab walk, and something derogatory was said to a dark green Marine. Mm-hmm. And I said, oh, hell no, we ain't having that shit here. And we all stepped up to the DI, and I think this is the first time he kind of said, holy Christ, I got 62 guys over here, and they're already pissed off at me. And now, I guess he kicked them or something. It was just part of the training, but it was a good thing to see how fast we were all going to stick up for our brother. Yeah. And I said, nah, this is what I'm talking about. And I said, and they're all looking at me. They go, you're the first one going after him. I said, it doesn't matter. I'm usually the first one in anyway, but you guys are coming in behind, right? And then you see the question mark on her. Well, Sergeant Sherman leaned up against her. He had his T-shirt on and, of course, his camo, spit shine boots, and his DI hat on. And he's looking. He goes, "You all want some of me, man?" And as we got closer, I know what he did, but we all just said, "The hell with that. I'm not down right now. We got a lot of stuff to do." But it was kind of to see how fast guys got intimidated. And I remember still standing. He goes, "What do you want, Elton?" I said, "I ain't backing down." And his eyes just went like this. And you know how the DIs put their, you should know, they put their cover down and they laugh.
That's right.
And I'm like, oh, he thinks that's funny over there, huh? I'm like, this is not going to turn out good. He goes, you need to go stand back in line now. So I'm thinking, yeah, I think I should do that. Because I turn around, I'm like, holy shit, nobody's there no more. Everybody's standing on there by their racks. So it was interesting.
Now, what year was that you went in?
1981.
81.
Graduated in March. Yeah, I went in January, graduated in March. I think we had 2 weeks indoctrination. So I think I was there for a total of, I want to say 15 weeks. For some reason, ours, I think the indoctrination, somehow we had an extra 2 weeks somewhere along the line. But we also had a guy come into our unit. You're so Full Metal Jacket. We had a guy come in there, midterm, recycle, whatever, and an exact identical of that
really
character came in there. Haggerty, Elton, you got Firewatch and your rotation. And I'm like, oh. And this guy's got the eyes like he's got, like, I'm already in the world of shit. And I was like, and I'm like, dude, are you gonna go to sleep? And I'm like, okay, we have no live ammo in here that I know of, and everything's locked up on the racks. But by then, I haven't seen Full Metal Jacket then, so I didn't know. And I'm just right away, I'm starting to process them. He's like, dude, help me out the window. I'm like, dude, there's no way you're fitting out the window as big as you are. And I said, where are you gonna go? He goes, I want to get out of here. And now my heart's going, I want to help this guy. There's a reason why he doesn't want to be here. He got recycled. Apparently, there's something wrong. He shouldn't be here. He's going to get hurt or hurt himself. Well, that whole night after my watch, I was up. I did not sleep. I'm thinking this guy's going to wrap somebody up anyway. They finally, I guess, saw the need to get him where he needed to be. So, yeah, it was interesting.
Very cool.
Yeah,
now, once boot camp was over for you, where which direction did you go then?
I went to Camp Geiger for it used to be called ITS, Infantry Training School. I got recycled.
Oh, really?
I guess I went out in town, came back, and I slept the 1 minute over. And I'm not going to mention the guy's name because I don't want to throw him under the bus. But I know he got a shot in the eye from me. He was a Vietnam vet, so I got a lot of respect for him. He was a sergeant, so he was in for a long time. So I get it. And I get the lesson he was teaching me. But at the time, I wasn't prepared to be woken up like that, growing up the way I did with my stepfather doing that to me. So it was like, alert, man, it's swinging. And he pulled me out of the rack and started. So in that case, so the other sergeant there was there. He goes, don't do that to him. That's not fair. And he put something in my jacket, so they recycled me. So no big deal. Another 2 weeks. It was good because I got double the training, double the fun. You know?
There you go.
So it was good for me. And it also helped me enhance my leadership and watch, because I knew a little more than the incoming crew. So I was able to assist them and exert my leadership, which was good. And I remember the sergeant going, you know what, Haggerty, Elton, whatever it is they call you. He goes, I don't know about you. He goes, but from what they told us over here, you got recycled. I'm not seeing that person. I'm seeing a leader. I said, well, thank you. I appreciate that. But I got a little more knowledge, so I'm going to use that to help our guys, because that's what we're supposed to do, pass it down. So I graduated. Yay, happy. and then I went to tow company, 0351, 0352. Had no idea what the hell it was. They go, Haggerty, you're going to blow up tanks and low-flying aircraft. I'm like, I did that at home, man. I threw rocks at birds and stuff like that. You know, I jumped off of buses on guys' necks, man, when they were bigger than me. So that was a good thing. So, of course, you had a train tow, which was it's a tube launch, wirely guided window projectile. And also you have your law rocket and stuff. But we had a gunner and gunner. So it was the Jeeps back then. So one guy in the back was the air gunner, and the guy was the driver. Hope to God you had a good driver. If you hit a bump, you're gone, man. In the old style Jeeps. So yeah, or it was a 2-man ground mounted unit carrying that traversing unit and all the stuff, man. I'm like, I'm gonna carry this in combat. How am I gonna get out of the way, man? I remember my lawyer asked me not too long. He goes, what'd you do in the Marine Corps? I go, ran for my life. He goes, that's funny, man. I like you. I go, it's pretty much what you do. You're always running, period. Whatever you do, you're running. I said, if you notice, Marines are always running, hand-to-hand comp physical stuff, because you're going to endure terrain and conditions that you're not subject to. You're going to eat food that would make a billy goat puke. And if you eat healthy and use a good diet, dude, you better have some Pepto-Bismol and some of that laxative, man, because that stuff is like concrete you're going to pour in. So you're going to get adjusted to a lot of different foods, and your body's going to go through heck. And hopefully you don't have any roommates and lots of air fresheners.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So where was the school? Where did you do that at Lejeune?
Yeah, Camp Lejeune. Camp Geiger was infantry training school at the time. And then Camp Lejeune, it was the 2nd Marine Division. Tank battalion, which they, I don't know if they still call it swoop circle, where everybody hops on and goes out of town, goes home, and then your ride don't come, and you got to call, hey man, not going to be there. Well, get back here as soon as you can, or you're absent without leave. I'm like, it's the guy's fault. I gave him money. He said, what did you learn? Yeah, I'm not trusting him again, man. Yeah, that's happened quite a few times. Had to get on a bus or take a plane. Yeah, and then you find that guy in base in the chow. I'm like, dude, he goes, oh, I was there. I said, you know what? I really want to sock you in the mouth right now because you were not there. I was there 4 hours before you got there because I had to get dropped off, you know. But I said, but thanks. I'm going to put a big sign on Swoop Circle. If you see this van coming up, don't get in it. It's a Hotel California. You can get in, but you ain't come back. So I tried to keep my sense of humor. So, yeah, I had a good bunch of guys in Tank Battalion. I just signed up online for the tow. They got a bunch of guys there, and I was talking to a bunch, and we had this guy, he was killed in action. His name was Mataccioni, young kid, Italian kid, skinny kid. Everybody picked on him, but everybody loved him. He had this Garfield stuffed animal, and people would like kidnap it on him and hanging from nooses, you know, in barracks. I'm like, man, and he would get crying because his girlfriend gave it to him. He was a sensitive, but he was a good kid. So I just recently found out he was killed in action. He was one of the first waves over there in Desert Storm. And I was like, what? Of all people, why him? Why not that guy? And I won't mention a per, but we had a guy that worked for us, CID. He was recycled into our platoon. And I went up to him and with my jersey and way of growing up. I said, dude, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't like you. I know you're not a Marine. I know you don't belong here. You're way too healthy. You're way too buff and shiny like a bodybuilder. I said, you're not a Marine's Marine. He said, what do you mean? I said, I'm going to tell you right now, keep your distance away from me. I don't care what your mission is, but do not come near me. One thing I don't like is somebody that's going to dare and start ratting on their own kind. I know he's got a job to do. I respect that. Do it, but don't make up stuff. Wouldn't you know it? Guess who went to my tow platoon? I get called down to CID. NIS. I'm sorry, NIS is what it was. Naval Investigation Service. So I stand corrected. They call me there. They go, yeah. I'm not going to give you the guy's name. They go, yeah. I said you sold the cocaine. I go, really? I said, where's it at? Let's taste it, man. I said he came to my locker. I had chromium picolinate, vitamin B15. It's a supplement that at the time would increase your oxygen and stuff. I said he was a bodybuilder. I told the guy down there, I said, listen, I don't deal anything. And I said I wouldn't. I said, but if that's the kind of people you have there, I said, I told that guy from day one I want nothing to do with him because I seen what he was. I understand you guys got the now he's like, you want to work for us? I said, no, I want to take care of my brothers. You do your job, I'll do my job. This is not the kind of job for me. Okay.
Yeah.
And I know what happens to people eventually. You can only go so far in a career. But I left it at that. I was still young, but I was still a little cocky, a little bit of arrogance, you might say. But that's just me. You know, it's just me. I speak my mind. So anyway, I said, you know, it was a vitamin supplement. I said, I told the guy I don't want nothing to do. And he can say, Haggerty, I know you got some supplements and stuff, and I'm working out. Can you recommend stuff? Because I have a master cert in fitness and nutrition and stuff. I also have a degree in sports psychology. So, like I said, as a kid, I learned all that stuff because I wanted to learn how to work out. So my mom was to take me to get certified. So I gave him the whole bottle of tablets, white tablets. Where they got cocaine from? So I told a guy, I said, did you taste it? Did you test it? I said, did you go get pumped on, man? And I said, unless you have good cause, I'll see you later, man. And I left. Nobody said a word. So now I'm hanging out with a bunch of other guys. These are good stories for people to learn from, to be careful who you choose in there, because I found out that no matter in whatever part of life you're in, there's always going to be somebody that's going to do you bad for whatever reason. I got into a car one day, and they were cruising around, and they were getting high. I had the windows closed. I'm like, man, dude, open them windows, man. You're killing me. Sure enough, next morning, my CEO goes, yep, they want you down at headquarters, man. You better get in your office, man. What? Go take a UA. Of course, nothing came up. They must have thought it was going to come up through the same, but it didn't. So I went back to those guys. I go, that was really nice. I said, I'm going to teach you something, what I learned growing up in the streets. You keep doing what you're doing. You've been here how many years, and you're only a corporal? That tells me something. And I was a Marine. I was always squared away. My lieutenant, every inspection, 4 days passed. I never took those passes. 2 days. I never took them because I always had the cleanest ride. I was always squared away. If I went out in the field and we got muddy, I came back squared away, boot and polish. Like, how do you do it? I said, shut my house back, man. Well, what difference how you come back? Well, I said, once you hit that parade deck, all eyes are on you, man. I get it. You guys come back that way, but you're showing your initiative of who you are. It's part of your character trait. You know, that's true. I figured I'd set it. So I did. A lot of people like, so, man, how do you carry them? Here, put them this way, this way. How do you keep them shiny? Wrap your blanket around it, or wrap your handkerchief, you know, and fold it like this, you know. I said, at least come back clean, you know. And so I told the lieutenant, I said, I'm not going to take my 4 days, my 2 days, my 72 hours. He goes, why? I said, well, here's the deal. I said, I'm not going to leave my men if we go to combat and take leave. I'm not going to leave them doing my job. That's my job. I said, if we all don't get it, I don't get it. Yeah. It made a good point to a lot of guys, but it also put a skeptical thought in some of the I don't know what you want to call them, their minds. Oh, is you trying to kiss ass? And I was like, dude, I'm a team player. I'm a team player. You get that? I will be here whether you're right or wrong. I will take it for the team. I am that kind of guy, you know? But if you wrong me, I will deal with you personally in my own way. And that's how I was. And hopefully old school, you box, have a few beers, and it's squash. But I learned you can't do that in the service at times. If you do it out in town. But you got to be careful because there's a lot of ways you can get in trouble. So I encourage younger people, pay attention to the rules, stay above all the drama, and if you feel you're uncomfortable around, avoid them. Just remain professional. Don't single them out. They're still a part of your team. So I had to learn some lessons like that, and it was kind of heartbreaking because I was like, why do I want to be in this unit if I got to live around people like that? What are they going to do if we go to combat? And I said, no, it'll change. I'm like, I don't know that. And I know it probably does, because when you're over there, you want everybody. All of a sudden, you get a different thing, man. You get a different perspective. But then you get guys that just are that kind of way. So that put my mindset. Here I am back in my home life. I'm in a hateful house with a guy that's violent. I never trusted. I never knew he was going to blow up. How am I going to trust these guys? Now I'm sleeping with my own handgun in my rack in the spa bay. I shouldn't have to. I'm around my Marines. I should feel protective and safe. So I learned a lot of valuable lessons, which I carry over to life. And this is a lot of things that actually, I don't want to say burden me, challenge me in life, because I am what they call extremely highly vigilant, whatever you want to call it. I got 6 bars on my door posted up there, and I got a door there, and I've got ring cameras. I got things over there. I go outside. I got my EDC bag on me. I've got my cable. I got everything. I'm going out. I'm going out. I don't like going outside. I got my service dog. I go outside. I'm prepared. Out here in Austin, there's a lot of stuff. So it's hard for me, and trusting people is really difficult. I stick around a lot of vets. I try to do a lot of things for the veterans. We have some good programs. Like I was telling you, we have the Healing for Horses Ranch, which has the Unbridled Warriors program, not just for veterans, but first responders. And I went over there. I was a little skeptical, and I met this horse, Bell. My first tag there took me right out of my shell, because horses, they may love, but horses are based on trust. If they don't trust you, you will know it very quickly, man. So Patty Andre, the director, she goes, wow, I really appreciate you being gentle with your horse. And this is a big Arabian horse, a huge horse. And me, I'm like, I'm fearless, but I'm thinking, that thing's like 1,000 pounds. I could kick at that thing. I'm thinking, I never was going to wreck. So I was kind of cautious, but the horses will feel that. So as I learned that, it taught me how to trust. It taught me to be patient, to breathe, and to be able to be in an environment where I was going to be safe and I didn't have to worry what's going on, because I knew that horse would alert to anything. So you learn to read their body language with their ears and their lips when they do things. It's amazing. So now I'm working on my certifications so that I can help other veterans. So that's a good resource if people here in the state of Texas or anywhere. It's Healing for Horses Ranch in Maynard, but the program's called the Unbridled Warriors Program, and it's an awesome program. It's done a lot for me. It's become part of my life, and now I'm able to contribute what I'm learning once I get my cert to help other veterans and people that are going through that, along with my dog training. So
that's awesome. Absolutely awesome that the Unbridled Warriors program. We're going to try to have the individuals on that kind of run that program at some point in time in the future, and then I'll be sure and get the email address, or not email, but website. And then I'll put it on there as well with the podcast. That way people can see it in the notes.
Yeah, we got a lot of programs. I will do anything for veterans. I've been to retreats. Just the other day, this guy pops. He goes, "Holy Christ, it's you!" And I'm like, "What do you mean it's me?" He goes, "You were at that retreat with me." I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Yeah, you were the guy in the back that didn't say anything. You just stood up with your service dog and your girl and watched her. You didn't speak the whole time." And he goes, "And all of a sudden you spoke." I go, "Yeah." And everybody goes, "Oh, he talks." And because I listened, absorb, I wanted to see everything. It was a great program because it was helping wives and husbands. It wasn't what I thought it was. I said, I'm not going to, I don't want to hear war stories. I want to learn how we can cope and habitate in the same house. And so it was more based on that, what wives didn't understand and getting to understand how they react. It was a good program. And so it was funny because once I spoke at the end, everybody's like, "Give me your phone number, man." I got their phone number. Unfortunately, I forgot that I had to change carriers, and for whatever reason, they won't release my number. So I got another one. He goes, dude, we've all been trying to get in touch with you. And he goes, that I said, oh man, that's the old number. So I gave it to him. I said, man, I'm so glad. I said, God put you in a reason for my thing. So he's getting involved in the horse program because he's still battling. I live in a community where it's all veterans. So I'm able to contribute and help them. We have the thing in the union, the helmets for hard hats, which takes veterans and gives it for the carpenters union. I'll give you the information for him if you want to put that back, because that's all across the country. They can, and they can learn a trade and be around people that have the camaraderie and the brotherhood, which is important. And I know that, you know,
very important. Yeah.
After I left the service, things were a little bit different. So I've been on a roller coaster ride with different challenges. I'm kind of what my friends and family call very resourceful, and what's the word? Get a TBI, you forget things. You keep standing on your feet. Resilient.
Yeah. Resilient.
You can't stop me. If I plan on something, I do it. So I've had some hurdles, like you get your hopes up to do something, you get all amped up, and then you get the ball drop. And then you got to figure out, overcome, adapt, improvise. Okay, can't go around it, can't go above it, can't go through it, blow it up. Can't do that anymore. I'm not the honey catches fly kind of guy. I'm like, dude, do your job kind of stuff. I will help you, but you have to follow my instructions, you know? So I've been through a lot of challenges, had some businesses that were successful. I became a bodyguard and had a good reputation. No jokes about my size, but if you ever watched Roadhouse, where they always say, Patch says, somehow I thought you'd been bigger. I've heard that all the time, because I guess your voice over the phone makes you sound bigger, because picture, oh, he's bodyguard, he must be this big. Then you show up and you go, hey, where's Mr. Haggerty? I'm right here. Well, where's the rest of you? I'm like, yeah, you're a funny guy, man. So yeah, so I put out a lot of stuff for that. But what I did find out, becoming a bodyguard, I went through Executive Security International. At the time, they were the Harvard of the bodyguard academies. They were based out in Aspen. I believe they are in Grand Junction now. Bob Dugan was the president and founder, and my one partner, which I'll tell you about later. He was also a founder and the vice president, and also a City of Aspen police officer. Really tall guy, nice guy. Steve Bigelow is his name, and so I learned a lot over there about people that come in from different countries that want to be bodyguards, and I've also learned there are some very large people out there. And I'm thinking, God, what is your mom? Oh, my mom's like this big. And they show you a picture and you got this monstrosity. And it's literally, I'm like, wow, that lady must be really strong if you came out of her. But, you know, yeah, you learn a lot from different people and cultures. And I take things like that in time to learn from others. And I learned a good bond from some of those people, because while we were staying at a hotel, you know, there's some people, whoever wanted to test their luck for whatever. And I never saw it. And I thought the Marine Corps was cool. These guys, man, doors rip right off the hinge and they're right behind me. Get away from him. And I'm like, dude, we're in a hotel. Yeah, this is Colorado, man. So you're going to get thrown out of school, man. I got this. But I had this one guy. He was a Russian guy. Oh, my God. This guy was the biggest lovable teddy bear kind of guy. But, man, he was a loyal guy. He was there. He must have just liked little guys, you know, wanted to protect them. So I learned being in that lifestyle, that being a bodyguard, I always thought, oh, you got to be big and stuff. You do. It's a good thing, because they are the deterrents. Those are the ones that do crowd control. Those are the ones that can, like, take 5 guys and hold them, you know. But I also learned something where I placed my leadership. And prior to graduating and completing the school, I was already being sent out on jobs because of my military experience and my street smarts. So you learn a lot of psychological observation, situational awareness. We actually had Jack McGeorge, Secret Service agent, was former Secret Service agent that guarded President Reagan when he got shot at. He was one of the instructors. He recently died a couple of years ago. But I'm going to tell you what, guys, you want to go to service and go to Secret Service? Once you learn about money and go into that field, you're going to learn a lot of stuff, man. Man, this guy was phenomenal. I'm like, you guys are shady, man. But the things it takes to keep the security of the government safe is extraordinary, man. I mean, the stuff, lockpicks, surveillance, different things, disguises, man. You think going to the military is doing conceal and camouflage stuff is good? This guy will let you walk in public unnoticed, man. Nobody will see you. You'll be like gathering anything you want, talking to people, and they'll tell you anything. He was a phenomenal instructor. We had Wally Dolan back at the time for a driving evasion specialist, and we had Don Johnson, not the guy on Miami Vice, but Don Johnson at the time was the renowned gun expert at the time. So we had a lot of good instructors there, yeah. So Bob Dugan was a Marxist revolutionist for his cause. He was Irish, a terrorist. So he decided he should put that school together because he best knew how to deal with that kind of stuff. So yeah. So he still controls it, but I think he sold it off. If you ever look him up online, it's Executive Security International. Anybody into that? There's all kinds of courses in person, online, whatever you want to have. Well, that was a good thing for me because that helped me overcome. I was missing the service. I just missed it. I miss it. I don't sleep well. I miss the people that I know I can trust. The guy, how you meet those certain guys that like, there's nothing to piss them off. They're always your best friend. They're always happy go lucky and stuff. And, you just can count on them. Just know, hey, man, what are you doing? I'm at your door, man. I knew you were going to call. What? Open the door. Just standing right there. Those kind of guys,
Right.
Call them up. Hey, man, I need you. Okay. How many men? How many guns? That's all I hear from them, man. I'm like, no, I just come on in. They're on the next plane. I got friends in the Philippines that are Marines. They fly out, call them. I got a friend. His mom has got dementia. She's on her way out. His wife's paraplegic. She's in and out of hospital. He goes, you ever need me up here? And I know he would drop everything, but I would never take him away from that environment. But those are the kind of people that I'm used to having around me. So the bodyguard business taught me a lot of things about using my size. My mom always had this thing that, because I wasn't book smart until later on when I was in the service, I started taking MCI courses, man, going out town to Coastal Carolina Community College. I'm like, man, this is cool. I want to learn this stuff. I don't want to learn that crap in school. Who cares what 2 + 2 means? I know azimuth and windage, man. I'll take you out from a couple miles away. What the hell? I need to know what 2 + 2. I'll tell you what 6 - 6 means. That means 6 of you are gone. So it taught me a lot how to use my brain. And even though my size, my buddy used to tell me, you were always the brawn, he was the brain, because he's a smart guy. And so it taught me to use my brain and helped me to be able to be a lead person to set up security detail. And I got to tell you, setting up security detail is no joke. I mean, oh yeah, just go stand there and look tough, carry a gun or whatever. It takes days. Sometimes you have to do things very quickly. You have to go into towns. You've got to collect newspaper articles and read intel. You've got to look at threat letters. You've got to talk to police and see what's going on so that you know the client and the potential threats. Then the property, if you go to hotels, you got to interview cooking staff and stuff. And you got to, nope, you're out of here. But we're going to put these guys in. But you're out of here with pay. You can come back later. Clearing 2 floors above the hotel, 2 floors below. There's a lot of work. But I also found out, and if you ever watched the movie The Bodyguard with Kevin Costner and Whitney Houston, okay, there's some good truth behind his role played there. That is pretty much how things go. He comes in, President Reagan, come on in, because at the gate, there's no code word and things all. He sets up the security, takes things out, She doesn't want it to be that way. She's used to her thing, but he knows his job. His job is to protect her. So you learn. And while I was out in the field watching what some of my other buddies know that have been in the business for a long time, that are really huge guys, I was like, God, I always wanted to be that big. I'm like, no, you don't. You know what size bed I got? They don't make one. You know how hard it is to get in a car? You don't want to know. You know how hard it is when you got a squat? I said, I get it. I said, but you know what? You know how hard it is for me to reach something in my cabinet? He goes, that's a good business. He goes, you know how easy it is for me to get shot? I go, I get it. So yeah, there's a lot of pros and cons to being big. My idea of being big is people would leave me alone. Some of those guys actually told me, I got picked on more than the little guys. I was like, what? He goes, some people ain't too. They want to pick on because you're that way kind of guy. And then there's those guys that nobody ever picked on. But I've talked to some of these big guys, and they educated on me on some of the tours I were for doing some details. And they're like, John, I want to introduce you to somebody. He told me this little guy, 4'8", man. Like, dude, man,
Wow.
the wind blows, man. You're going to gone. He goes, he's a funny. The guy was a good natured guy. He was the main man next to the client. That was the most dangerous person. If you got close to his client and you ever, God forbid, you had to deal with him, I can tell you, I've watched this guy train, and they did live training. I've watched them take down 6, 7 of those big guys, and they come at him. There's no whole bar. They come out like real.
Wow.
I'm like, you got to be kidding me, man. And he would just smile. He goes, want to be like me? I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm good. I want to be like you. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of threats at that size. But he had a good mentality. He had the training, but he had the clear mind to focus on what he was doing. He didn't have anything interfering in those thoughts. So I learned to use that in my everyday challenges. That I found out that doing something that I can focus on took me away from the stress and the anxiety, because now I've got something that I enjoy that I can put my energy in and turn it into something positive. I'm not like flipping it, oh man, because that happens. You go into deep depression when you got to wait on stuff and you lose hope. And I've been there, and those dark places are not fun. You can drink yourself into an abyss. I mean, and let me tell you, people, you cannot outdrink the alcohol in this world. I have tried. It will never happen. It won't happen. The bars will always be filled with liquor. So it's something we have to try to overcome, to come out of, and we've got to want to do it ourselves. And I found out by having people around you that are supportive are important. Friends are like your most important things in life. Whether you're married or something, your friends will always be there. They are important. They're there when you go to struggles in your personal life or you're battling. Pick up the phone. And I encourage. I've seen a lot of friends kill themselves in front of me. I mean, literally in front of me. And it's like all of a sudden, all nice and gone. It's, and I've tried to help people. And so I don't want to see that happen. And being around those people and understanding what they were going through and listening and watching their character changes and their body movements and the way they're breathing and things they're doing, you see it coming. And I was told, you can go to their aid, Johnny, and you can try to help them. You might save them for a day or two, but if they're going to do it, they're going to do it. I said, yeah, but there's got to be something. There's got to be something that can help them get away from that. I get it. They're going through. I may not understand their specific area of demons, but I know what I battle it. But I am a strong enough person to know that I'm going to survive. Don't get me wrong. There's times, and if it wasn't for the horses and my dog, I may not be here today, because there was a day that I happened to come up to a spot. It was Rock Bride Ranch, which is another ranch that does therapy. I was on my way home from work, and I had my Harley on the back. I was staying at a hotel. COVID had come. I've lost everything. And I got hit in the head with the steel. They said it was estimated 750,000 pounds of a steel door that came crashing down with pressure.
Wow.
I had my neck replaced. I have the most severe level of traumatic brain injury, which is untreatable, except don't get another one, which causes a lot of problems. I've got nerve damage. I've got no feelings down my arm to my fingers here, so I break dishes when I hold things. So, but I try to overcome it. I keep moving and doing things and work within my realms.
Right.
But that put me out. So I was coming home from work, another Army vet. He said, come on, Johnny, I'll let you work. You make some money. And on the way back, I got lost as usual. GPS just sucks with me, man. I'm so unstoppable because I'm not going to look at that while I'm driving. I've always heard about Rock Bride Ranch, which is another thing like the Healing of Horses Ranch. It's in Georgetown. And so I said, oh, there's that ranch. I've been looking for that. Just never had time. So I pulled in there. The sunset was picture perfect. And the horses, just they were out in the pasture. It was like, it looked like a painting. And it was so tranquil. So I pulled my truck on the side. Nobody was there, but there was people in there. And me and my dog, and I sat there. And I got out of my truck. I was in tears. And I was looking at my dog. I think that's what kept me, because I didn't want to leave my dog. And I was contemplating, like, yeah, I didn't go to my next duty station, but what good will I be if I go out this way? But so I got back on my truck and I pulled up in front, and this cowboy guy. He's actually from California, but he's out here. He comes out with the cowboy drum. He had a cowboy hat on. Howdy, how you doing? And I had the tears in my eyes. He must have saw, and he just kind of looked at me. And another lady came behind him, and we started to talk. And he saw my Harley on the back. And he's, come on, you come over here tomorrow. Come over here tomorrow night. Come to dinner, man. He told me about the program and stuff. So I wound up going back, went through the volunteer training thing and stuff. So he was the guy that brought me back to like, hey, I got you. He showed me he cared. He generated. His name is Kevin Bauer, and I owe the guy a lot, along with other people and Patty and my dog, which right now is sick. He's not eating, but I'm hoping he's going to be well. So, yeah, don't mind me getting emotional. And guys, it's a good thing to cry, man, because it tells you you're human, man.
That's
so
right.
It's a good guy to get in touch with your feelings. So I'm not afraid to cry. Anybody wants to call me wimp, I'm good with that. But this wimp still got some fight in him. So, but it's okay to feel your emotions. It lets you know that you're alive. And if you can feel, then you should be able to help understand yourself. So I've been in those places, and having something important in my life, to me, is contributing to others. I had to go through a lot of therapy, which I told my therapist, you couldn't tell me that from day one. And I'll tell you what. So after so many years of therapy, we've tried EMDR. We did all this stuff. The stuff that just it wasn't for me. It's not how my brain is geared. It doesn't work that way. So she's like, Johnny, you got all of these good things, these trades, these crafts, these skills, these contacts. She goes, you can't save everybody, and you may not have been able to save those that are gone, but you're here now. Why don't you help the guys here? Ding, light went off. I'm like, you took all of that time to tell me that? I want to know which one's the therapist, me or you, because that's not genius. That's pretty clever, but Jesus. So I started to get involved in a lot of organizations that help veterans. And sometimes I put money out of my own pocket to help them. And I'm like, you can't pay me back. If you use it for a user fine, pay it forward. Have I got beat before? Yeah. But you know what? I don't care. My purpose was for good intention. If they used it for that, they're going to learn sooner or later. So try not to learn that way, because I've had a lot of good friends that learn that, and they still call me and say, I'm not sending you money. I've done it before. Yeah. You've been down that road. You've got the tools. I gave you the numbers. Call them up. These people will help you. You're in another state. So I also learned that I had to put boundaries in my life and the people around me, because people have told me that I'm controlling. Boundaries are not controlling. Boundaries are the way I choose to live that keeps me comfortable. Mm-hmm. My home, I'm clean and neat. Take shoes off. My floor is like glass. I keep my floor shiny. Just waxed it again. I'm pretty neat and organized. And because of my TBI, the mood swings, the forgetfulness, and certain things that are attributed to it that progress, they told me I should put notes on my thing. I'm like, no, I'm not going to put notes on it yet. I don't want to look like that yet. But I try to keep everything organized. So I'm systematic. So, I said, if you come over to my house, if I say time out, please time out. Don't keep going. Because if you're upset and I'm upset, it's not going to help either one of us. I'll take a walk. But I avoid negative people at all costs. At all, anybody, any negative at all, I avoid. I run like a chicken, man. And I'm happy to say it, because I run for due purpose, because I don't want to ever be put in a position where I could possibly hurt somebody, or I don't want to do that. Okay. Yeah. So that gets back to the bodyguard stuff. So having my career in martial arts and fighting skills and weapons and stuff, and including the Marine Corps and the outside training, I learned that I have a lot of power, more power than other people have over people's lives. Yeah, I don't want to take a person's life. I want to preserve somebody's life. So I try to put that in play with those that are struggling, and try to apply that. And I found out, because I've been in situations in self-defense things where, you're a Marine, you abuse your training. I'm 5'7", 145 pounds. Those were 9 guys, 180, 280, coming at me with knives and hammers. I think I came out pretty good if I'm still walking. And you want to lock me up? Yeah, okay. So I've been in those situations, and I know, and I also learn, and I encourage those, and a lot of guys will probably attest to this, that they've probably been in situations too, that we have skills and people will actually use that against us. Government trains us, and now all of a sudden we're the bad person because we're defending ourselves. So that's a thing that I have to caution myself on. So I learned that those things are a good channel to help others. My plan, and I think I explained it, is once I get my certification and a full certification of my dog training to get all the pros and cons in there, I want to get a piece of property. We'll have a big building there where veterans can come and stay for a week or two, however you structure, free of charge, shower, eat, get well, give them ticket stuff to send them on their way. If they want to stay and get in the program, we'll have a drug and alcohol program. I want to be able to teach basically Aikido, dog training, and use my fitness program to help them. And I'm working on my degree for chemical dependency counseling. So what I want to do is incorporate dog training. My thing is, if you're fit and in shape and you eat healthy and you keep your mind focused, you have a better chance. And that's key. So my tactical training, we have a lot of veterans that may be in wheelchairs or have prosthetics or whatever the case. I can teach them how to defend themselves from whatever aspect, whether they're sitting on the floor or in a wheelchair, very easily.
Right.
But I want to not do that for self. I want to do that for confidence, to show that they have the ability. Because a lot of people that are there, I've seen guys run Spartans and stuff. I'm not doing that. I'm not running 30 miles. These guys are running and that, and they got one arm, one leg, and I'm like, I can do that. I got long limbs. I can do that. And then I'm like, oh, hell no. That guy is strong, man. That is a determined man. And that is an inspiration and encouragement to a lot of people, how you don't have to quit life, man. You can do it. So I apply a lot of things that I learned in life to overcome things. So, yeah. So once I get my dog training, that's going to be it. And also using dogs to help people for therapy and hopefully to rescues. But that's down the road. It's a program. I've been trying it 7 years and doing the dog training programs and stuff. It's a long system, but I'll get there. And if I'm able to even set it up before I go to my next duty station, but when my mom was alive, she'll be gone 8 years this Christmas that just passed. And she goes, you know what? It's two things I admire. One, you're as smart as you are dangerous, but I want you to be smart here, not here. and she goes, you're very resilient and you never quit. And that's what I admire you as my son. So I want you to use that stuff and don't ever give up and quit on yourself, because if you quit on yourself, you quit on those around you, and those people need you. And my mom was one of those people. We had all the kids' jobs, but that's another story. But yeah, so using that kind of stuff is what I want to do. Is if I get that started, as long as I'm alive just enough to get it off it and let it be a legacy for somebody else, I got something that I accomplished that I can rest in peace knowing that I've given back to others that can help. You say, how do you want to be remembered when you die? Well, nobody's going to remember me. My best friend's like, yeah, they will. All them guys that didn't know what the word humble was. And I told him, I said, I don't know what humble. My pastor's a Navy SEAL, and he's trying to teach me what humble. And I said, my idea of what a humble experience was, pick on me, you're going to get your tail kicked. That was a humbling experience. He's like, Johnny, that's not the kind of humble. But my best friend's going, yeah, you taught him the definition of humble of picking on a little guy. So, I come from that kind of environment, like always defend. Yeah. I'm always on guard. Yeah, I'm always, let's fight. Let's fight. We can talk later. Let's fight, If you were picking on me as a kid, I was very quiet. That was what's really dangerous. I had it took me, let's say 2004 is when I finally started. No, 2008 when I finally started opening up. My therapist got me. You can talk about things. If just don't kill people. You can say, I'm going to kill you, or I'm going to beat you up, but just don't do it. It's okay. But if you hold it in, you're apt to do it. I'm like, yeah, but you say you're going to kill somebody? That's second-degree attempted murder. It's a probational, non-violent, non-jailable time. She's like, why does she? Yeah, look up the law, man. I said, so she goes, damn, the whole world be in jail. I said, yeah, exactly. So yeah, there's actually a law, like in Arizona. If you tell somebody you're going to kill them, that's considered second-degree attempted murder. So if you get that on your record, and somebody reads, oh, they're going to hire you. told the guy I was going to kill him, man. What? That's all I said. You got that? Yeah, it's ugly on paper. Trust me.
Wow.
Yeah. So whether you say it or not, if somebody says it, you're going to get in trouble. And then you got to fight. So you got to learn. So I used to never talk. And my thing was like, talk, wham. That's what my Uncle John said. When I would run, walk up and knock him down and go, now what you saying? He said, don't ever bother you again. So that's how I grew up, but I had to, because it was the way to avoid constantly getting beat up. And I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to fight, because after I hurt somebody and my friend pulled me off, I went back on and pulled me up. I feel bad, because I know how I felt when my stepfather beat me up and my mother. So I had those emotions. Going into the military was a contradictory to my upbringing, because now I'm there for a job. And the good thing about my mind, for whatever reason it is, and I'll just give you, me and you are buddies, and you work for me. As friends, we can cut it up and do anything. At a job, I can separate that friendship from a professional environment. A lot of people can't do that. I can do that. So when I go, so that makes me different. But my mom, when I was telling her, she goes, that also makes you dangerous. I said, yeah, but for good cause. And my mom, she's not a violent person, not in her life. And where she goes, and I can't believe she went through that. She's strong. But in any case, so I use that kind of stuff and I joke around about it. And there's, Johnny, you're scaring people. I said, I'm just joking. It's just joking, But so I have to learn to what I communicate around certain people that have no inclination of any of that kind of stuff, that grew up in a bubble and think the world's safe. I'm like, the world's not safe.
No, that's no lie. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's not safe.
So you're looking at trying to start the organization, right? Where you have a place for veterans to come and be able to learn different trade, different things like that, right? And you're working on your certificate for dog training. Is that what you said it was?
Yeah, it's a certification. You got to have, I think, the master cert, because the program that I'm in, they will help me put my business plan and get me the finances to get equipment and stuff like that.
Got it.
So
okay.
I have to go through the process, which is pretty cool, but it's elongated, but I'm getting there.
Yeah. Okay. Very nice. And then you regularly go to the place with the horses. Is that a regular thing for you? Yeah.
I do. Yep.
And how does that? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go. Go ahead.
How does that help you? Like, if people are looking at the possibility of doing that, like, what is it that you get out of going and doing?
Okay, it gets me out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
Gives me something positive. And even the people that are around me that are in my neighborhood, they're always happy when you're with the horses, because it just does. It puts you in a different set. You're happy, and you come home and you're fulfilled. You got hope, and you look for the next time. So the horses teach you a lot about yourself. Belle has taught me, and did you see the video I did? Okay, yeah. Belle has taught me more about myself in the first action that I had from the very first day. Changed my life, like from going to put me on top of Mount Everest, oxygen not included, but put me up there, and I'm like, this is great, man. And it just like motivated. All I want, it was like the Marines, like every day I'm gonna sleep, eat, and drink horses. I got books, doing courses, Patty gives me books. And we also have horses that we put at a rehabilitation center, which is called, it's a Sage Recovery. It's also there. So we keep like 3 or 4 horses there that like need a break or on medication and stuff. Maybe and Patty or another instructor, they use that in their recovery program for the clients for horses as therapy. So I go over there and feed them and play, hang time with them and feed them apples and stuff. And I learned that horses are about trust. So from the very first day, Patty goes to me, she goes, I just want you to know this, Johnny. Don't get excited or don't be surprised if one day you turn around and all the horses are behind you. I'm like, why? She goes, that means they trust you. So she goes, go put, I think it was Charlie Brown, go put Charlie Brown in the stall, in the open area. And she goes, turn around, all the horses behind you. They know, they want what's in the air around it. It's amazing. It's amazing. Huh. It changes your life, and it also helps you to trust and to breathe and to be patient, because horses want direction. Yeah. If they see they can direct you, they're going to be stubborn. I got one Charlie Brown now. he's stubborn. If he ain't want to move, he ain't want to move. And I
Yeah.
don't want to go, come on, but you got to pull things a certain way. But I feel like if I do something a little bit aggressive, I'm abusing the animals. She's like, no, that's a 2-ton thing. They don't feel it, So you have to learn to take control, and every horse is different. So each one teaches you something, and you also learn to watch their breathing, feel their breathing, watch their ears, how they're communicating, and they actually communicate to you. It's like great. Belle, if she don't see me for a couple of days, she'll go and she'll walk away from me. Or
Really?
if I'm there, yeah, she'll come up and nose me in the back. If I don't have an apple, she'll turn and walk away. Yeah. Or if I have apples, she'll chase me. And if I run, she'll come up faster and she'll take her head and go like this to stop me. Yeah, it's so funny. It's great, man. I'll send you some videos for person you can watch.
Yeah, that's really cool. It sounds like it had big personality.
Each horse has its own personality and characteristics. And so Patty rescues a lot of horses or takes horses that are retirement or horses that people can't handle more. And she puts them through the program, and some of them are good for the therapy program. Other ones don't. So they give them to other people that they use it for whatever it is. You'll ride the horses too. You go on trail rides and stuff. So you learn how to ride. And Patty's like, Johnny, that's not your Harley. Because I'm sitting back. I'm like, I'm thinking I pull the reins. The horse just goes, no, you got to sit up straight. And I'm like, oh, I got to sit up straight with my back. They're breathing. So, Harley, you got your clutch and you got your shifter on the left side. She's like, now, if you want to go that way, you got to pull this way and put your right foot and, squeeze them on that side. I'm like, man, that's a lot of work, man, to make them turn. So you have a lot to learn to ride a horse. And I'm like, wow, it's not as easy as I thought. It's just going down trail to make them turn. And if you look down, they're looking down and they're not going to go where you want. So you actually have to turn your body, your posture, because they feel the weight on you, the way they sit on them. And you have to look at where you're going to go so the horse knows where to go. So they feel everything you do.
Yeah.
It's kind of like if you put somebody in the back of your Harley and they move, they can actually steer the bike from behind.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's why I say, when you get on my bike, you wrap your legs around me, girl, and your arms, and keep your head there. Don't move. You go with me.
Yeah. Because, man, if they go opposite of you, whew.
Yeah, so they teach you how to introduce yourself to the horse, how to let it know you're there, so they're in the space, so it gets comfortable, because they'll look at you and you've got to put your hand rest. You'll learn how to groom them, and properly go around them in a nice way. And if you see certain reaction, maybe they got a pain there, to go around it, because the horse will let you know. So you got to be gentle. You'll clean out their hoofs and stuff. It's amazing, man. I could pick up a horse's leg like that. I was like, wow, that's awesome. I'm like, first time here, I'm like, this thing ain't coming up, man. All you got to do is you put your hand down and squeeze, and they pick it up because they know. I'm like, wow. But it took me like a while. I'm like, you got to come over and help me. Like months. I mean, I never got it. Up until recently, I'm like, oh, you just go like that? No, you go over there and just do it. And most of the horses know. I'm like, wow. And then you got to lift it up so they know that you got it, not let it dangle. I mean, there's all kinds of techniques. So it's really cool. It's really cool. And the horses really like it, And in certain parts, the horses you can touch and pet, and they'll just kind of fall asleep on you, or they'll roll over. Yeah, it's fun. It's really cool, man. And when you get bonded with a horse, the communication, it's like they'll come up, and they'll come up and they're not biting you. They just gotta kiss you, they let you know they like it. It's just awesome, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, that sounds like a fantastic organization. I can't wait to kind of get them on here and kind of go over everything. So hopefully that'll be soon enough. But so you said you were involved in other veteran organizations, veteran activities and stuff. What other things were you involved with?
All right. Well, they got the 9/11 Heroes Run. It's the Travis Manion Foundation. So they do the 9/11 Heroes. They do runs all over the country. And so I always do the ruck run, no matter how much pain. I got a medal up there. Yeah, so it's cool. So yeah, so you get to do runs, walk runs, whatever. They do that over here on the Army base at Camp. I call it Camp Mayberry, but it's Camp Mayberry. So, so yeah. The VA here in Temple has the adaptive fitness program for veterans. So what they do is you get signed up. They have basketball, what do they call that other thing? Pickleball and stuff. They'll take you to California to go skiing, sky. They got all kinds of programs. So you can go down there and sign up. They have a thing, and I'll send you the link to that, and you can send it out to the veterans. Yep. It's put on. They also have a website. It's free to veterans, like for yoga, Tai Chi, Qigong, which I take too, which is good movement and flow. I mean, it's really good. So they have a lot of, and they're free. They're free for veterans. So it's awesome. You don't have to pay. So you can 24/7, 7 days a week. You can sign up for any class you want. 10 minutes, 15-minute breathing, meditation. Mindfulness, all kinds of people on it, all kinds. I got one guy that's just strictly veterans. He's a vet, so he understands things. You get online and you got everybody and you're watching. The ladies are like, for me, yoga, I'm like, ladies, can you like turn around? They're all very butts in the air. And I'm like, how am I supposed to do yoga with all that beauty in front of me? I say it funny, they all laugh. They just laugh. It's a good thing. And that's the problem. Sometimes I say things and some people actually get offended, but I'm just me. I don't care. I'm like, and that's how I live my life. So, but I also have to learn that I have to filter things. I try to stay original me. I'm real. If you put me in front of the president, I'm not going to change who I am. I'll just put on a suit, whatever, but I'm going to still be who I am. Everybody says I write like I talk. I said, why should I do any fancy writing? It's just like I'm talking to you through paper. That's me. That's all I know. I'm not a PhD in penmanship or grammar, man. I can spell. I know how to space. I got that part. My penmanship sucks, but you can make it out. It's for a good read.
That's right. Yeah, and I'm sure you learned it all just like your duty logbooks, right? You had to write it nice and neat, make sure it was perfectly aligned and all that stuff. Got the rule.
When I took law classes, legal stuff for legal writing, because I've got my degree in that. I have a specialty criminal law procedure, civil litigation, and business and corporate law, which helped me in my business, like do LLCs and stuff. But I found that when you do like legal writing, you might want to word it right, man, and put your references in there. Otherwise, you might, I like to learn now. If I'm interested in it, I like to learn it, and I put all my effort in. That's why I'm so psyched to do my certification for the horse program and for my dogs. Is that's a part of me, and that's the biggest part that I want to contribute to our veterans, because I know that I've had animals all my life, and dogs have already provided me comfort. My dog today is a service dog, and I need him. So without him, my life is there, and he's getting sick now, so I'm kind of getting concerned. Bridie's only have a lifespan of 8 to 10 years. He's going to be 8.5, and he's not eating the past couple of days. He had a burger yesterday at the St. Jude's Research Hospital, volunteer down in Fort Worth, which was awesome. So I gave him a burger, but he couldn't hold it down. So today he's just laying around. So he usually would come up here and be right up. Hey, what's up, man? High five. So, but
hopefully he starts feeling better.
I'm hoping.
Always a bad thing whenever your dog's feeling sick. You kind of don't know what to do because they can't communicate with you that well, other than you can tell that something's wrong, but it makes it a little more difficult.
Yeah, they communicate too. He's very eye contact. Everything's eye. He's hand signal trained, so he's very. They consider him the runt of the litter out of 11 Rotties. The smartest one. I picked him out. I had him since he was 6 weeks old. He's smart as a whip, man.
Really?
And, you want to talk about a dog that will give you an alert? He can be in the bedroom, and I can be watching a movie, and I don't even know that part's coming. And he's barking at him like, "What? There's not going on." All of a sudden, around the corner comes a guy with a gun. TV, and he watches TV. He can be in a dead sleep. Somebody can be moving around in the woods across the field. I can't see him. He's up barking, and I'm looking. I get over and I can say, "Oh my God, you saw that?" That's my alarm system, man.
Yeah, that's a good alarm system.
Oh yeah. So,
that's awesome. Good. Well, hey, is there anything else that you would like to bring out, talk about before we move on and kind of close out the podcast? Anything that you want to tell the veterans, or words of wisdom, maybe something like that? Anything like that?
I live by 3 words: actions triumph words.
All right, say it one more time.
Actions triumph words.
I like it. I like it.
Me too. That's what I live by. So I taught all the apprentices in the program for the union. You know? So yeah, but
Very
be
good.
safe, eat healthy, man. Keep your head above water. Make calls, use numbers, get a support system if you need it. Don't push people out of your life. They're there because they care for you, and be there for others, man. Whether you want to or not, it's a good thing. And set your boundaries, You can help those that want to help themselves. If you need somebody that's really struggling, help them a little more. Go the extra distance. You'll be happy you did.
Yeah, very, very true. Very true. Hey, John, thanks for coming on. Thanks for doing this podcast. It's been absolutely incredible. I'm excited about trying to get out to Texas way and getting to see you and everybody out there and all your friends and everybody out there. So hopefully we'll get that going here fairly soon and we can figure it out maybe during the summer sometime.
Looking forward to it. It'd be nice to see you out here. I'm sure you like the horses, man.
Oh, yeah.
Teach you something about yourself.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I need to be taught something, so it's good.
I think we all do, and I tell people, if you think you know it all, you don't. Never stop learning, because the more you learn, the more you can pass on to somebody else. If you don't know something, find out. Go to the person that knows. That's what makes a good leader.
That's right. Very true.
There's nothing wrong with saying I'm wrong or trying to learn it.
Yeah.
Yep. Builds you. It's character builders, man.
Yeah.
That from my
words to live by. Yeah. All right. Well, hey, thanks, John, for being on. For everybody else out there, if you are struggling, you're needing some help, anything of that nature, you can dial 988, press option 1. Again, that's 988, press option 1. That's going to put you in contact with somebody. They're going to be there. You can talk and tell them whatever it is that you want to tell them. It's anonymous. You don't have to tell them everything. But definitely reach out to them. If you don't want to do it that way, you can text 838-255. Again, that's 838-255. And same thing, it's anonymous as well. If you like to chat online, if you go to veteranscrisisline.net, that's veteranscrisisline.net. There's a chat icon, same principle. Get on there, chat. Somebody will be on the other side, and they're going to get you to help. One veteran's life lost is one too many. I know I care about you. I know John cares about you. And I know that all the veteran community cares about you, and we want what's best for you. But John, thanks again for coming on. It's been fantastic getting to talk to you and get to know you. I appreciate you being here.
Oh, wow, it was a pleasure. Semper Fi.
Semper Fi. I like it. All right, to everybody else out there, stay motivated, change your socks.